Joe Rogan has obviously had enough with the left. He's just completely done with it. He's completely leaving the left, as you'll see in this video that I'm going to play in 1 second. But it's so good to see people with large platforms just get fed up with this BS, just like the rest of us. You know, and Joe Rogan has always been the guy who's kind of in the middle. He's kind of even keeled all the time. He's not going to get too angry at people. He's not going to get too happy or support one side more than the other too much. And if he, in the past, whenever he has supported one side over the other, it has been the left. And now he's starting to realize, or he's fully realized now, that the left is just full of a bunch of lunatics. And like he says in this, it's gone full communist. And he's basically just completely leaving the left. So let's check out this video here from Joe Rogan, this clip from his podcast. And like I said, it's great to see people with large platforms making statements like this, that they're basically leaving the left. And I don't know if he's actually going to start supporting people like Donald Trump or anyone on the right, but he's definitely not supporting these weirdos on the left anymore. So let's check out this clip here from Joe Rogan and let me know what you think of this.
Austin people are great people. They're really nice. They're nice. They're not shitheads. They're not Hollywood people. They're not lost in this fake world of leftist ideology that everybody's trapped in. They're just people. They're just regular people, man. And those people exist outside of these blue bubbles where everyone's gone insane. Well, I used to be a part of the blue bubble. I was 100% a left-leaning person who lived in Los Angeles. I was 100%. I never voted Republican my whole life. I was very left-leaning, especially with like any social issues. When it comes to financial things, I'm a little bit more conservative, but at the end of the day, I'm way more left than I am right. But California went nuts, man. It's gone like full communist. It's out of its fucking mind. And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. The no cash bail, the letting people out for committing violent crimes, the fucking not stopping people for stealing up to whatever money it is. What is it, $900 now? I think they raised it. I think they made it a little higher. San Francisco is non-existent. San Francisco, most of San Francisco is emptied out of like big chain stores and big department stores.
I wouldn't even do stand-up there anymore.
It's crazy.
They ruined it.
They ruined the city.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can bring it back. The structure's still there. But you have to have some hardcore Rudy Giuliani type motherfucker to come in there and knock heads.
Wow.
And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. They're peace, love, and granola and fucking wear a mask.
I'm in the middle now.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle.
I never thought I would ever say that.
Never.
It only happened in this last year.
Right, exactly.
I just went, I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? People that you thought were aligned with you are like now like mad at you about shit.
They're in a cult. They're in a cult. It's got all, I mean, Mark Andreessen, who's a brilliant venture capitalist guy, explained it to me in very clear terms, like what the definition of a cult is, how you can get excommunicated, how you get shamed for having differing opinions, the group think, the whole. He's like, it's a cult, and he's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah. It's
just hard to say because then people in the cult will attack you, but they're not attacking you for a reasonable. It's not logical. Like the way they're attacking you. They're attacking like someone attacks religious beliefs.
Yeah. And
some of these religious beliefs, it gets into these weird gray areas, like trans people in women's bathrooms. Like, says who? Yeah. Says who? How do you know that's a real trans person? How do you not know that's a fucking creep that wants to pull his dick out in front of kids? Because those are real. And if that guy was a convicted sex offender. Yeah. And he was doing that. Look, those guys are real. It doesn't mean trans people aren't real also, but those guys are fucking real. Yeah. And to even say that those guys are real, you get excommunicated. You get treated like you're a Nazi.
I never even cared about it.
Didn't care at all.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you are, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But it's like, I can't do it anymore.
I think it's engineered. I really
do. By who?
By China and by Russia.
Oh, no, Chinese.
Yeah, I think what they're doing by manipulating social media, manipulating algorithms. I think some of it is natural. Don't get me wrong. I think some of it would.
It's such a true clip from Joe Rogan, man. And like I said, it's just so great to see people with large platforms saying things like this, you know, just calling out the wackos on the left. Like some things on the left, you know, you can, they check out logic wise, right? You can at least talk yourself into understanding like, oh, I could see why someone would possibly believe that. But then there's some things where, you know, the things that Joe Rogan was talking about, like the men in women's bathrooms. It's like, obviously there's some people out there who have like perverted minds. So I think we should be a little bit more careful than just saying, yeah, you know, all men, if they identify as women, can go into women's bathrooms. Like, it's just common sense, right? And when people like Joe Rogan, who, like, and the other guy, I don't even know the other guy's name, but when these people were so far left their entire life and they start to say, you know, this stuff is kind of weird, and then they get to the point where it's like, no, I'm done with the left. Like, I'm completely done. They've gone full communist. They're literally they're psyoped by China and Russia. That's how bad it's getting, that people on the left for their entire lives are now saying that the left is just an operation by China and Russia to destroy the West. Like, that's when you know it's getting bad. When people like Joe Rogan, who was left-leaning his whole life, and if he had to take a side to this day, he probably wouldn't choose the left, because it's just filled with lunatics. It's filled with, in my opinion, very obvious psyops from China and Russia. Like, it's a very obvious, you know, operation from other countries to destroy the Western world, to destroy the United States. And it's impossible for anyone on the left who's inside of the cult to see that. You just cannot convince them that their ideology could possibly be the wrong one. You just can't. You can't ever have that conversation with them. But if people like Joe Rogan, who have been on their side for the longest time and have these super large followings, that if they start saying that, then, I mean, they have to listen at some point, right? At least some of them have to start listening. It's never a bad thing to have people like Joe Rogan on your side, you know, people who are very, very common sense driven, who are very left-leaning previously and now center-leaning. It's never a bad thing to have them on your side and calling out the BS in the world. So let me know what you guys thought of this Joe Rogan clip of him basically leaving the left and calling the left just a bunch of woke lunatics. We're all tired of this woke stuff. Even people like Joe Rogan are starting to get tired of it as well. You know, someone who was originally on the side of Bud Light and calling out the people who were, you know, boycotting Bud Light and melting down over Bud Light, calling them weirdos and calling them lunatics. Now Joe Rogan's on our side, and Joe Rogan's leaving the left altogether. Let me know what you guys thought about this Joe Rogan clip from his podcast. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you on the next one.